County. For those of y'all who are going through it again, will hopefully add some value to you. My name is Nate Trish. I've been with Guilford County for over 17 years, going on 18 years. What y'all are getting ready to go through is basically a version of the internship, only more condensed and, in my opinion, better, because the folks coming in to speak to you are subject matter experts. And here's Sheriff Rogers.
Good evening. Just want to say thank you all so very much for signing up for this class. I think it's very knowledgeable. It will help you become more knowledgeable about what's going on within the county of Guilford, all the way through. But they don't know the other things that we do, or the Sheriff's Office does. Thank you all so very much. Have a great evening, okay?
Thank you, Sheriff.
If you couldn't stand to look at me, why would you be standing here looking at me? I ain't going to work at the Sheriff's Office. You're here to learn. You're here to see a side of us, and I hope you get that. If you don't get that at the end of this 8 weeks, make sure we know about it, because we want you to understand how we feel and what we go through. So, from communications to me showing up, anybody want to take a guess how long it takes us?
11 minutes.
11, 7, 10, 10,
15, 8.
15, 8. All right. Y'all all right around. 12 minutes and 49 seconds. And that's for the time communication says hello, 911, to the time we make contact with you. From the time we get the call to make contact with you is 9 minutes and 49 seconds.
This is our response team. You guys will notice we have a pretty diverse group. We also have 3 canines that are on our team as well. So this is the acronym, sir, Sheriff's Emergency Response Team. It consists of volunteers that respond to dangerous incidents. We do respond to dangerous incidents. Barricaded situations. A barricaded situation, that's usually when someone has decided to barricade themselves. I need an ambulance out here in case someone gets hurt. Oh, by the way, there's a school 3 blocks away, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and the big yellow fella is going to roll down the street any old time now, and I'm terrified that's going to happen. All these things are going on in my mind, and I'm like, I need all these resources so that I can be able to, properly manage the situation. Not only the safety of the suspect, but the safety of our officers, the safety of our community, the safety of the schools. Those are the things that are, kind of rattling around in my head as we're going through all this. There's a loophole scope on it. It's not the best scope in the world. It's not the worst scope in the world, but it is a scope nonetheless. I use this for entries when I make entries into houses, and I use this rifle if something is going on and I don't need a larger gun. It's just a tool. So this has a flashlight, has a laser, and then it has a scope. The scope is illuminated inside. As a law enforcement officer, I'm responsible. Anytime I use deadly force, I'm responsible for every bullet that comes out of this weapon. And I want to make sure that everything that I do, if I have to use it, I have control of it. This is a 6.5 bullet right here. It's 140 grains. Coming out of my barrel, it's 2,800 feet per second.
That's coming out of knowing your service?
That's correct, yes.
And I've been in canines since 2012. My first dog, which you'll see tonight, is a Belgian Malinois. Who's ever heard of a Belgian Malinois? Nice, so they're starting to get popular. He was my first dog. He came to America when he was 1.5 years old, and he was trained to track, protect me, apprehend fleeing suspects, and search for drugs. So, yeah, and this is Deputy Kofer and her dog Barry, and there's Sergeant Cornell. I said a minute ago he was our vice sergeant. He's not. He's over our traffic team, but he was in our vice unit, and this is a single-purpose drug dog. So all that dog does is search for drugs. All right, so here's 11-year-old Bach. You can pet him if you want. If his ears were back and his tail was tucked. Okay, how about you? Now you rub me. Tiger's a little more skittish. You want to say hey from there?
Hey, Tiger.
What?
I don't think he's feeling us today.
Tiger likes to say it is.
So Tiger is my non-criminal tracking dog, and that's what he'll do. When he finds the person, he'll jump up on them to recognize like this is the person we're looking for. That's him.
Process division. It is one of our largest. It is the largest division here at the agency. Our agency is split up into districts, And we have District 1, 2, and 3, legal process, which is the largest special operations division. The Greensboro section is, this is Sergeant Walker, he's gonna be over this section. Sergeant Miller is over our High Point section. This is my area, executions and padlockings. Family services, which is our 50B, our domestic violence protective unit. Summons, those are issued by small claims court. All right, civil actions up to $5,000 or the summary ejectment. And summary ejectment was what we were talking about as far as that eviction process.
A couple weeks ago in Wayne County, there was a officer serving a civil paper. In Caswell County, the civil paper, Oklahoma. So it's very dangerous because we're going into people's houses and they're not. We just catch. A lot of times we're catching them off guard. They're not expecting us, and we're the first thing they see. And so we really got to have our guard up. Just
rule number 1 is the call that you got is not the call that you're going to get. And so with that being said, you want to have an open mind. You don't want to have any bias going into calls because, for example, you might get a call out to a suicide. You're going to get there. You're going to start processing, start observing things. And you're going to find out it's a homicide. We follow these steps here. You're going to assess, observe, document, search, collect, and process. There's processing that we can do out of the scene. There's processing that we do in the lab. Out at scene processing, that can be powdering for fingerprints. So with B&Es, motor vehicle, residents, we can, once we're done with our documentation, we can do the processing right then and there. Some types of chemical enhancement we will do out of field, such as Blue Star. So if somebody had potentially cleaned up or we're trying to enhance bloody footwear on the floor, we can use Blue Star and it'll illuminate, and you can get a photograph of that to kind of show where potential blood could have been.
Do they really do that thing where they can tell a trajectory of where the bullet is fired to?
Yes. So if you scan it properly and at the right quality and resolution, we'll put the trajectory rods through bullet holes, and then we'll scan it, and then the software, we can have it tell us trajectory. Same thing with bloodstain. And with the bloodstain, it'll give us an area of convergence, which means this is where, you know, the incident occurred.
Guilford County EMS, and tonight we're going to talk about kind of what EMS is. Right here is only a one-man unit, so there's one paramedic on it. But it has the capability to transport, meaning that a firefighter or somebody can drive their truck in, but it's just a one-man unit out in the county. So they're not able to transport initially, but then eventually with fire department there, or the transport unit will come. So our bicycle emergency response team. So Fun 4, actually the folk festival that's going on this weekend, anything with a lot of heavy foot traffic that is very limited to like vehicles kind of passing through, these guys are going to be deployed.
So there are a lot of things that mental health can add to an officer. It's not just the calls. We've talked about it in some of the things. Death notifications are very traumatic for officers because, again, our good days are days that we don't have to have as many bad interactions, because most contact that law enforcement have, we get to do stuff like this. There are good moments. We get to help people. We get to have contact in that community. We get to have that relation. But a lot of calls that we go to is that you have a death scene, you have a traffic accident, you have to go tell somebody that their 16-year-old wrapped their car around the tree, that somebody overdosed, serious injuries, different things.
So as officers, we have to take our shakedowns very serious. Don't get caught up in a routine of just, I don't see nothing in here. Your co-workers and somebody else that's coming behind you at a different shift or a different time, okay?
So what's over in the old jail? Did they take it down? Tracy is moving us over.
We're going to do a quick walk downstairs, and we're going to have another interview to make sure you stay. Hang tight. Stay in. Down here you have your booking desk. You're going to have a lieutenant that's down here. You'll have a sergeant that's going to be running the shift. Some of these guys are DTEC guys. So this is going to be, once they come in, their paperwork here, so they know who's in the cells, who's going where and whatnot. Do y'all have any questions for them in here? I know we're kind of sort of going a little bit fast.
Sir, we will let them know. If not, then you'll be.
D-Tech as a whole, I think we have 30 now, and between two different teams. We have an AD rotation team and a BC rotation team.
So the weapon we have here is referred to as the MLR. Some statistics about the MLR are, for one, they provide non-lethal forms of ammunition. So we are in the process of reenacting what it is that we generally do when we have to extract someone from the cell. Inmate Stout, I'm asking you to place your hands through the food port.
Nah, you gonna come get me?
Now, just to explain, placing your hands through the food port is what is necessary. Okay, gentlemen, go ahead and stack up. So now, as you see, all of our 1 man, 2, 3, and 4 are all connected at the hip. From there, I would open the cell door and allow entry. Gonna move out of the way. All right. Now, as you see here, your one man is in control of the head. 2 is at the left arm. 3 is at the right arm, and the gentleman at the end now has the legs, and that is how he would properly be extracted. Once both hands will be placed behind the back, we would place the handcuffs on. We would group, we would team, help him get up. We would generally count to 3, 1, 2, 3, help him get up, and we would then get him out.
$12 an hour with a high school education, and now all of a sudden, you're looking at starting a job that's going to make $3 or $4 an hour. Okay, you were probably the only person working in the house, probably have 2 or 3 children. Now, what are you going to do? So, the poverty factor kicks in there. You've got all these individuals that are looking for something to do that, you know, they're either going to have to start their lives over again. If you're an older person or if you're a younger person, you really don't have anywhere to turn. Hey, we'll swallow up some of these smaller gangs, and what we'll do is we'll make them sub-chapters, and then we'll let them do all the dirty work for us, and we'll reap all the benefits. So, yeah.
Go over what is Crime Stoppers, how does it work, the cash rewards, how do people get paid. So what is Crime Stoppers? Well, essentially it's an anonymous tool that citizens can use to report crime without the fear of retaliation or retribution. So you don't have to take the stand if you leave a tip. You don't have to be named in court documents or take the stand, anything like that. So there's 3 essential elements that every Crime Stoppers has to utilize for the program to be successful. So you've got the citizens, of course, law enforcement, and the media. So all of those 3 components have to work together for the program to really to exist.
So let's see, we got the plate called in, we got the make, model called in, color of the car, you got the location. We're gonna let them know we're on a traffic stop, and the only thing that you forgot is how many, we want to let them know how many people we have in the car. So make your approach, and we're gonna let her do it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards, all right?
Turn down the music, please. Turn down the music, please. My name is Officer Evans. Do you know why I'm pulling you over today? Sir, you were speeding, going up Millstream Road. Can I have your license and registration? Why were you speeding today? Why were you speeding?
I wasn't speeding.
I clocked you in going 95.
Your radar probably needs to be calibrated.
Please stay in the car. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So, what information did you get from him there? What do you got in your hand?
I got his name.
All right.
Should I have asked him his name?
You can. All right, so that brings up a great point. If somebody wanted to lie about their identity, right? I might give you the car to somebody else, but based on the picture, is that the person that you have in the car?
Yes.
Okay, so you can say as a law enforcement officer, I identified the person using his name and his picture on his license, right?
Okay.
So then we got, he also gave you his carry concealed permit. So what does that might tell you about him?
Oh, he has a gun in the car.
He might. All right, we don't know if he has it on him, but he does have a carry concealed permit. So again, yep, you're right about that. You're going to explain that, you're going to give him his information back, you're going to let him know you're giving him a citation, and then send him on his way. All right, go ahead.
When I approach this vehicle, I've got the flashlight on, and I'm looking in this vehicle.
Stanford, I pulled you over because you're speeding. May I have your license and registration, please? Can I reach my glove box? Sure.
And while she's doing that, I've always got my flashlight in that car, seeing what she's doing.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be back in a moment, all right? Good.
All right?
Yeah.
So typically, I'll go back to the vehicle, I'll run her license. If everything's good, I'll decide whether I'm going to write her a ticket or not.
Sheriff's Department.
Hang on a minute.
Sheriff's Department. Turn the radio down.
Do what?
Turn the radio down.
Huh?
Lower the window.
I can't. It's a new truck. I'm having trouble with this.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else?
Yes, sir. Can you keep your hands on the wheel?
Sure.
All right.
Anything else?
Just want to ask you, is there any emergency that you're going to? I had you doing 50 and a 35.
Well, I've been married for 34 years. That's an emergency to get home in time.
You were speeding. A lot? You were going 75 on a 65. So you were going fast.
Hey, good evening. My name is Officer Ford. I'm with Guilford County Sheriff's Department. You mind turning off the vehicle? Mind turning off the music just a little bit for me so I can hear you? No, I pulled you over today, sir.
No.
I clocked you back there going 45 through that 35. It's a residential area. I just want to make sure, are you okay? Is there an emergency going on? Why are you going so fast?
No, I'm fine, man. Here, hold my beer for me.
Oh, your beer? Sir, I can't be taking that beer out for you, man, okay?
Oh,
You been
okay.
drinking tonight?
No.
You not been drinking? Well, why is there a beer in the car?
Huh?
Why is there beer in the car if you're not drinking?
I don't know. It ain't my beer, I think.
How was that? Great, Mr. Mike. That was great.